Carr. I'm the ODOT Rail and Public Transit Administrator. And we're going to try to be pretty quick here. I know everybody's interested in getting on the trains, jumping on. We are pleased to have one of our two brand new train sets here. We've just taken delivery of them, and this is one of the last chances we have to show them off before these trains go into revenue service and start regularly going up and down the Willamette Valley. So without a whole lot of ado, I would like to introduce the Director of the Oregon Department of Transportation, Matt Garrett.
Excellent. Thank you, Hal. I'm going to be very quick today. Hal, you can hold on to that microphone. I'm just going to shout. I want you to know how proud I am to be here today. I appreciate you being here and taking time out of a beautiful Saturday morning to celebrate these trains. We have right next to us here is the Mount Jefferson. Its sister Mount Bachelor floating around. It's outstanding. These train sets represent another example of the state of Oregon and the pioneering spirit we have in terms of being first. I want you to know that these Talgo Series 8 trains are the only trains in the world, and we have them here running the Pacific Northwest high-speed rail corridor. So very privileged to do that. These things don't happen. They are made to happen by very dedicated, intense, and passionate people. The host of partners, starting with the Transportation Commission that made the decision to use some federal stimulus dollars to purchase these trains, on through all the various partners at the federal, state, and in the private sector, our friends at Talgo. It took them all to make this happen, and I can't thank you enough for that. So again, as I said, we use those American Recovery and Reinvestment Act dollars, over $38 million of federal stimulus money to purchase these trains. And what came with the purchase was a philosophy or a disposition or attitude. And that attitude was, it is time now to be all in specific to passenger rail. We as a state of Oregon will quit playing passenger rail as a hobby. We are going to invest, we are going to embrace the critical role of passenger rail in this transportation system here in the great state of Oregon. So, this investment also preserved the opportunity to make sure that we continue to play in the passenger rail. There was obviously significant investment up in the state of Washington. If we look to our brothers and sisters to the north, I have envy. One day, my hope is we can find financial streams that will allow us to create a rail system as robust as our friends to the north. But that said, it kept us in the game, and it kept providing travel options for Oregonians along this corridor, from Eugene to Portland, then on up to Seattle, and then British Columbia. I want to ask you something here. We're here to celebrate, there's no question about it. But we have very critical financial and policy conversations coming up over the next couple years specific to rail and very specific to passenger rail. I'm going to need your intellect, I'm going to need your passion, and I'm going to need your wisdom carrying the message over the next couple years as we engage this conversation. So folks, I need you to lace up because it's game time right now. But let's celebrate that. As we move, let's celebrate this today, but as we move forward, we have much to do. So with that, it is my privilege to welcome John Russell. And Mr. Russell is the co-chair of Oregon's Passenger Rail Leadership Council, and John will share with us what activities are currently engaged to realize future improvements in this passenger rail corridor. With that, Mr. Russell.
Well, thank you. This is truly a celebration today. I co-chair this committee of about 36 people with the mayor of Eugene, Kitty Piercy. And our job is to figure out how we can best, in both the short run and the long run, connect Portland and Eugene better. These trains are really the key to that, believe me. Now, I'm not an economist, but I think it's widely held that if you connect two cities, both cities win. But if you connect two cities, the smaller city wins more than the larger city. So when you connect Portland to Seattle, Portland wins, and Seattle wins, but Portland wins. It'll be more than Seattle. Connect Portland to Eugene and Salem, all win, we all win, but Eugene and Salem win even bigger. So that's our job. We believe that train sets like this do wonderful things for the economy. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Anyway, our committee's job in the next year or so is to figure out how best to do that. Tall order. But it's my privilege now to introduce the head of Talgo USA, Antonio Perez.
It's not very good. Can
You hear me? Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Better.
Well, before I start, I would like to.
Hello? Oh, okay. Before I start, I would like to, when I was preparing the speech, I was thinking, one anecdote came to my mind, and that was about one time when I was working in the Canary Islands, and then I was having a meal. It was a delicious meal, and I went to the. This is what.
Sorry.
I went to the kitchen, and then I asked the cook, "Well, this is a delicious food. How did you prepare it? What was the recipe?" What the cook told me is, well, I was waiting at that time, paper in hand, pencil, and I was thinking, well, I'm gonna get lots of complicated recipes, spices, and so on. What he told me was the following: I made it with love, and that was the key for that delicious meal. I can tell you that more than 150 people in Talgo, together with a bunch of people from Spain, from Talgo, Spain, were engaged and put their heart into building this train set. We hope that you will enjoy this train set, and so that required a bunch of dedicated people in Talgo, including Ferran Canals, Gary Young, Felix Alvarez. But not only that, we wouldn't have been able to do this without the very dedicated team of Director Garrett. He engaged the best award team in order to make this happen. So on behalf of Talgo in the US, thank you, Director, thank you, Administrator Garrett, for making this happen. I wanted to thank the whole group, and then because many people were involved, I wanted to mention that specifically one by one. So Jill Smith, Jennifer Sellers, Bob Melville, John Johnson, Betsy Imot, Joseph Denhoff, Heather Connor, Shelley Snow, Kathy Holmes, Shelby Robinson, Ted Fogg, Russell Schweringen, Stacy Snyder, Michael Jenkins, and Hal Garth. Thank you very much. These Talgo train sets were built with our funds, so I'm sure that Governor Itzhaber is proud to be leading the effort in getting the first high-speed trains in the U.S. Built with our fund. Some interesting information that you see here is that we put 32,000 hours in building these train sets. 24,000 hours of engineering. We got involved about 150 key vendors. The trains that you see here, this particular train set is made with, it has 65,000 parts, 10 miles of wire, and you see 300 tons suspended in 32 points. These train sets are built to run at 125 miles per hour. They are not going to be running right away at that speed, but as the rail program of Oregon and Washington develops and continue improving, we will have the possibility to have these trains running at that speed. Talgo is proud of being part of the Pacific Northwest Corridor, And also we wanted to thank other entities that were involved, FTA, FRA, Washington State, BNSF, and Union Pacific. So I love you. Amtrak was also key to this process. Bringing the train here was not made possible without Amtrak. So I hope you will all enjoy the Talgo train sets. The best thing you can do is ride the train set, and that's the best way to recognize all the work that we did together with Oregon and Washington. So I wanted to finish this. We just are transferring the title, the ownership of the train sets. So I wanted to give this key. This key only gives access to certain key cabinets and key elements. So Director Garrett, I would like to give you.
I'm going to give this to Hal so we don't lose it.
I would like to introduce our partner, Amtrak, Robert Eaton. He's an enthusiast of trains well before he joined Amtrak. He's a government affairs person in the Pacific Northwest. Rob?
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to try to keep this brief because you'd rather be on the train than listen to me. So that being said, the Amtrak Cascade service that's state supported is a national model. We here in the Northwest have a national model for passenger rail, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because this Amtrak Cascade service connects dynamic and vibrant communities in 2 states, 1 province, and 2 nations. It is successful and it's dynamic because we have the support of the Department of Transportation. We have the hard work of Hal's group and all the staff in ODOT and WashDOT that make it happen. Their tireless efforts make it happen. We have the support of 2 wonderful legislatures, Washington and Oregon, that support passenger rail. We have the support of 2 governor's offices that make passenger rail possible. We have the support of the FRA, Federal Railroad Administration, and the FTA, Federal Transit Administration. This huge support at the state, federal level makes this service successful. The most important part is you. You are the folks that make this success in the Northwest possible. The hardworking people at ODOT and WashDOT have been very thoughtful, very deliberate in incremental steps of making a very successful service. And this right here is another big incremental step with ODOT, the state of Oregon, and the people of Oregon owning 2 new train sets. This is why it's successful. Yes, exactly. On behalf of Joe Boardman, our president and CEO, and the 20,000 employees of Amtrak, as well as our hardworking people here in Portland and the rest of our employees in Washington and Oregon, we thank you all. We congratulate Oregon very much on the success. And we also thank Talgo for being wonderful partners, since you have unique equipment here in the Northwest that makes it uniquely Pacific Northwest region. Congratulations. We're very proud to be the operating partners. Enjoy the train.
All right, everyone got one other thing to say. All aboard!